Welcome to the Conservation Lab here at the Illinois State Archive. Primary goal that we have here is we take records that are stored permanently here and we need to get them to where they're safely accessible to the public. Vast majority of that time, that's going to mean we go through a pretty standard process of hydrating, flattening, surface cleaning, repairing, refoldering. That process starts with taking records that look like so. These records are Supreme Court records. These are roughly from the 1890s, and these are a good example of how a lot of records will come to us. So they're going to be tri-folded, tightly bound. These paper fibers, they don't want to lie flat again. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to introduce moisture to them to get those paper fibers to relax and want to re-lie flat. And to do that, we use a hydration chamber. So this is our high-tech hydration chambers. These are basically Rubbermaid containers that we have a platform to keep the documents outside of the water. We use distilled water and we put a little bit of liquid Lysol in there to prevent any sort of active mold growth. These just allow the documents to lie flat or to absorb moisture to then eventually lie flat. We'll let these sit in here for roughly 3 to 5 days. And then from here, we'll take them and we'll put them into our book presses. Pretty standard idea here. We're just taking pressure and we are taking those records, retraining them to lie flat. That's going to allow us to put them into file folders at a later date and get them to be safe to be handled by the public. So after this, our next stage is we need to do surface cleaning, repairing, and removing any sort of metal fasteners. And then what that will do is that's going to allow us to remove any sort of surface contaminants. So we deal a lot with mold, we deal a lot with soot. Unfortunately, a lot of the containers that these were stored in were metal file cabinets that had gotten wet over the years, and so we deal with a lot of rust. So we're going to remove any of that we can. We're going to repair any sort of tears that are in the documents, and we have multiple methods to do that. And then once we're done with that, we'll put them into acid-free file folders. We will label them properly, and then we'll get them ready to go back up into the stacks. From a box starting completely tri-folded, covered in soot, to this, on average, will take us about 2 weeks, is generally what we're going to be looking at per file. And so that's what we do here in the Conservation Lab. Hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of a glimpse of what we can offer, and thanks again.